It's not. All right.
Oh.
Brown 45! Brown 45! Hot, 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 hot!
Seven hours of commercial-free football start now.
I sent it to Castner. This man has zero chill. Quickest to the clip ever to start the show.
Good
I
chat.
really need
Like the show
I really need Coho here because something was proven last week that man is by far the dumbest football fan on the history of football. I know ball. I called last week like a precision. Just a few things to wrap everything up. Trevor Lawrence is no different than Daniel Jones and proved it on Sunday. Couldn't beat the Titans, missed wide open passes. He is a awful quarterback. Seems like the Titans wanted to win that game to force Jacksonville out. Think I said that. Think that made sense. I'm pretty sure I said the Jets were going to beat the Patriots because it didn't matter if Bill Belichick likes to fuck around. It's still the Patriots this season. And I think I also said that Mike Vrabel, the only reason he is not being mentioned for the head coaching job in New England is because he was still under contract. Well, guess what? Changed this week. Mike Vrabel is now a free agent and will be the next coach of the Patriots. It is crazy how I've called this. I suck at picking games most of the season, but did I get last? And I will start with this. The dumbest franchise under God's green earth is the Chicago Bears. I don't know what the equivalent is. I've been trying to think of it the entire week of a coach becoming available. A defensive, and I would argue, guy that did more with less than any coach over the last span of maybe 7 years, Mike Vrabel. Ryan Tannehill was his guy. Let's all remember. Mike Tannehill, yes, he had Derrick Henry. Great choices. That defense, surprisingly, sometimes did it. You guys are deciding to keep Eberflus. You keep an Eberflus. Here's my question. For the last 2 seasons, we've seen the same scenario. First 7 games, Justin Fields looks lost. He looks stupid. He is not a quarterback. He's not a good quarterback. Then I think Eberflus digs through his drawers in his office and it's like, oh, we have a running quarterback. Maybe we just change this up a little bit. And then you start winning games. Besides that you keep Eberflus, Jordan Love owns your ass now. He is now your daddy. I watched that in Wisconsin. It was a really fun event for everybody else. I'm going to talk to everybody in a second, but Scully, I think we'd all allow you, if we want to get on here maybe next season, we spin a wheel, we let you pick a brand new team, you just embrace a new fandom. We'd support it. We'd all help you with it. Thoughts?
Look, so I have been vocal about what I would like to see. Safe to say I didn't see it today. Am I disappointed? Absolutely. I don't want Eberflus here. I think
you've been disappointed. That's been your life.
Yes, this is true. He has a coaching philosophy that preaches no mistakes on offense and essentially perfection on defense. So very much the philosophy of our franchise. However, you can't win championships that way. I don't know why he's still around. I truly have no idea. I don't know why Ryan Poles feels like he owes allegiance to him. He was given a list of 3 guys. One of those was Eberflus, and he picked him out of the 3. So it truly sounds like, from what we heard at Hallis Hall, that he was essentially convincing people that he was good enough to stick around for another season. I don't know.
So
I don't know who he sold up the river for that to happen, but if you watch the press conference,
does he have him in like a dress with a bunch of women around? Like, what is he doing? I have an honest question though.
What?
So you guys have great draft capital this upcoming offseason. Like great. We heard all. What do we hear? I don't know. I heard this. I don't know if everybody else. Who had the most cap space of all teams last season entering free agency? The top team with cap space. It was the Chicago Bears. We're going to clean house. We're going to be terrible. We're going to get the number 1 pick. We're going to trade that. We're going to be like, and reasoning, Carolina will go down as one of the dumbest franchises ever for trading that stuff. Like, nothing can explain how dumb that trade was. Like, Russell Wilson trade may be pretty bad, but that one will go down as one of the worst trades of all time. But my question is, you guys do this carousel. You draft, you fire, and then this guy didn't pick this guy, and this guy didn't pick this guy, and he doesn't get to support this guy. It would just make perfect sense to get maybe a guy that's not far from Chicago and Michigan that just won a national championship, which, if you want to know how Scully's week's going, he also picked Washington and said Washington was winning the whole thing, which I told him was not happening. And Penix's stock dropped tremendously because if you rush 5, the dude can't throw. Interesting how that works. So you're having a bad week. And this is the quarterback class that is better than all quarterback classes in the last couple of years. Like, who knows, they're all going to pan out, but there's a lot to get. Wouldn't it be smart to fire Eberflus? You have a great GM. Draft with this draft capital you have, build a brand new future, and trade Fields for something else. Because my belief is now that Eberflus is staying, that means Fields is staying. Like, it doesn't seem like if they were going to fire Eberflus, Fields was going out the door. Now that Eberflus is there, they're keeping Fields.
Look, truth be told, I have no idea. What the strength of the Bears front office is that you don't really know what's going to happen. There are very few people who truly know
strength.
The strength. Do
you understand what that word means?
Yes. Just let me finish.
Okay, sorry.
One of their biggest. You want me to talk? I'm talking. One of their biggest strengths is how tight-lipped they are about what goes in and out of Hallis Hall. We had no idea up until the trade with Carolina happened that there was going to be a trade. Up until the combine, there was no news whatsoever. Now with this, what?
No, you sound like a ridiculous human being. That you guys traded, and then you took you left Jalen Carter on the field. I'm not saying that he's the best option, but he was the best, clearly, option. Your offensive line was ass this year. What are we doing?
No, stop it. You didn't watch the games. You did not watch the games. Darnell Wright was one of the best right tackles in football this season, hands down. What he was able to he played 97% of all snaps on the field this season. The most of
I don't give a shit about that. What is the Chicago Bears? I'm going to poll everybody. For the last 20 years that we've known the Chicago Bears, what area of the field has they always been the most dominant force? What is it? Defense?
Linebacker.
Just keep drafting deep. Like, your team, this is what you should do. This is what the franchise should do. Get 2 good running backs. Fuck the quarterback. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. You can literally put Mike Ditka behind center and get 2 good running backs and then go trade for Justin Tucker. get Justin Tucker because you're only going to get 3 points every time, but get the most stacked defense that you've ever seen in your life. Win every game 9-3. It does not matter at that point because your team has never been able to build a quarterback in the history of the NFL. If I was Caleb Williams and you had the number 1 draft pick, I would look at him in the face and be like, if you draft me, I am not showing up. I will literally go work at a McDonald's than go to Chicago. You guys do not know how to deal with passing, and Eberflus as a coach clearly doesn't know how to deal with a running quarterback until it's week 7 and his ass is on the line. He says, oh, guess what? Maybe we should do some run RPOs. Fucking idiot. You are delusional. You are like the Reds. We are the Red Sox this year. We are talking about fun ideas that could happen in our team. Guess what? We're going to be miserable fucks for this season, and we both know it, but we're going to talk ourselves up that our strengths are going to be pitching and draft and trade. We're not doing shit. Bears not doing shit.
The offense was tight-lipped. I hadn't even gotten to my main point yet. My main point is that the only rationale I can see is that Eberflus, with how they were scapegoating Getsy in the press conference, that they will choose their offensive coordinator more carefully and allow him to design an offense around whatever quarterback they have going forward, whereas Eberflus does not have a role in that decision-making process. That is the only rationale that I can think as being positive in terms of our outlook.
You know who I hope your offensive coordinator is? Nagy. I hope he goes back on that.
I'm going to say Matt Canada.
Yeah.
Matt Canada.
How can you think it's a healthy environment when a head coach doesn't have a say?
That's why I hadn't even gotten to finish my main point before we move on.
That was your main point. You just said your main point was that. Didn't you just say that was your main point?
I wasn't finished.
I think he was.
Well, I'm sorry that we're going for a monologue speech. Give me your thing in 2 sentences.
Fine. I don't know if it's Caleb. I don't know if it's Justin. I just want good coaching next season. Period.
I can agree with that.
I hope Ron Rivera joins you. Okay, listen. Riverboat Ron. We made it to the playoffs. The playoffs are set. Things have happened. I'm gonna go to the one. So you're not the big. Listen, if any girl out there that will ever be with Scully, or if you're currently with somebody, loyalist guy in the fucking world. All right, this man will go down for any. He will stand by your side. You trust him. The trustful man right there. Chicago has fucked him for 20 years, and he's still there.
She's well aware.
What?
You watched me have a meltdown during the first Lions game. She's well aware.
Oh, so you're actively with her? Oh, God, praise her soul. She most wait until fucking baseball season. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna go to the biggest idiot in the room because you guys put 2 points on that to win. Okay, to Bears, and then I bet my most confident bet ever is Miami to win. What's up, Coho?
Well, it was close. At least it was close. There was a real shot there at the end. There was a real shot there at the end that I was going to pull that one out. So listen, I really thought the Dolphins were going to do it. But yeah, the Dolphins are not as good as I had hoped they would be against a Bills team that still played like shit for a lot of that game. Josh Allen looked real bad in that game. So I don't trust the Bills. But I also don't trust the Dolphins. Yeah. That was really a coin toss game, but I really thought the Dolphins were going to be better than that from Mike McDaniel's press conference.
I mean, you can say that Josh Allen was kind of nuts, which he was.
Yeah, too, it was also bad.
Could you imagine if instead of 3 turnovers, he gets some points out of that? That would be a fucking blowout. They were running up and down the field the whole fucking game. They just were fucking it up in the end.
However, they didn't. Because they're the Bills, and they will turn the ball over 3 times.
I mean, when they go for it and I think like interceptions is like one of the most inflated stats in the world. Because if he's trying and throwing it, and like one was on 4th down, it was a punt anyways. Like, what are we like? Of course he's going to try. Like, I know it's going to cost him at some point. Don't get me wrong. Like, that will always cost Josh Allen in his career. I'm just saying, at least he was trying. They're like, holy crap. I've called them frauds all week long. I was right about Jacksonville missing the playoffs. That was the fraud. And then Miami's been fraud. What a shock. They go from winning if they beat Tennessee, this is no longer a question. They get to be in Miami. But instead, they lost to Tennessee, and now they have to take a nice cold trip to my state, which is going to be low of -16 on Sunday. That 50 weather.
Who was going to die?
Tyreek's going back to Arrowhead. Oh my!
And Arrowhead in the playoffs is a different beast. I'm not saying they're going to be any better. They're the 2 Super Bowl people from last year. We all have questions. We will get into full discussion of all that. What I need everybody to do currently, while we're talking, while you have time, so everybody has their spots. No one is picking together. No one is doing anything different. This is a lot like a confidence pool. Okay? If you've ever played a confidence pickup, you have 14 total points. 14, 13, 12. That says mini games, the Super Bowl with the last one. You can only use 1 point value one time. So this week you're using 6 numbers. If you pick somebody for 1 point, you no longer can pick them for 1 point moving forward. If you pick somebody for 14 points, 14 is done. Win, lose, or draw. We're not going on a loss system. We're just going on total points. The winner of it, the loser of this has to do something of the winner's choice. Basically, you'll probably be streaming on this channel. So my viewpoint. So my choice would be, so if I win and Coho loses, he is going to watch Green Bay highlights for like 3 hours on screen.
He needs to watch the 2009 NFC Championship game.
Of course. I'm not going to lie. That would kill me. Watching the Saints game again would kill me.
He might watch that one, and then I might make him watch that one, or I might make him watch the Eagles-Vikings.
I think the Saints one's more heartbreaking to me. But
well, I get to pick, so I don't really care. Maybe just like a Aaron Rodgers biopic, like just story talking about how great he is and what Jimmy Kimmel did.
Question: If I win this thing and Coho loses, can I make him take off that stupid mustache?
No.
I mean, no, not. It's something related. So what I've already done is I've already locked all my points in. So while we're talking in Messenger, create a doc with all the 6 games and your point values next to those games. We will reveal them as we go, but I don't want anybody to like, oh, I'm doing 14 and this person goes, well, I'll do it for 1 and make it crisscross. I want points to be neutral, and I've already locked all mine in.
Wait,
and then we will talk about them.
Let me double check. Let me double check this.
Yeah.
So it's 14 because it's 14 playoff games, right?
Correct, including Super Bowl.
So if
you want the most points for your Super Bowl, use it for the Super Bowl. If you want it, you think these games are easier, pick them for these ones. But you have time. We will discuss it. We're going to discuss next week. We're going to pass. It's kind of weird. Vrabel getting fired. I think he's probably the most sought-after head coach right now on the block. I think if I was a head coach, I would go to and Pete Carroll leaving.
That was nuts. That surprised me today.
I mean, he's 72. They say he may stay with the team, but I don't know if that's confirmed yet. But if he's a head coach, but you're thinking he's 72, would you want to put? Well, you got 4 more years. If I'm Vrabel, there's one team out there that I'm probably going to, and I'm probably going to the Commanders.
Nah,
No. I agree. I 100% think he's going to the Patriots. If that's an opportunity, he will go to the Patriots. But if so far he is staying, I would go to the Commanders. Top draft pick, young over thing, be able to build the capital, build the team. They gave him draft assets. They sold off. I think that would be the place. I don't know. Ron Rivera, I would be surprised if he gets another job. I wouldn't touch Carolina if you paid me a whole bunch of money. Chargers are in cap hell. They don't seem like a realistic option. Maybe Vrabel in Seattle. That wouldn't be the most crazy thing. Like, that would be the Legion of Boom 2.0. I think that would be interesting.
I would say the Falcons. They're the Commanders with a much better defense. And
I think Vrabel. I think the writing's on the wall. I think Vrabel and Arthur Smith are reuniting wherever they go. I think Vrabel's going to pull him as an offensive coordinator, and I just think that. I agree. I think again, if I was the Bears right now, I'd be on the phone with the Falcons and being like, hey, you want Fields. I think Fields in that situation is like a dream. Oh, and the run up the score thing, that was just that was great. Like, what do you like? Of course Jameis is the one that makes that
Well,
call. Like, why was
it's because Jamal Williams didn't have a rushing touchdown yet this season, and yet he led the league in those last season.
I understand, but you had 48 point. Like, you could have got there at some point. You didn't need it at the very end. Like, you could have figured that one out sooner. So overall takes from the week. Anything that stands out to anybody? Any things I said, like firing? Anybody surprised that a coach made it through so far? Like any of that? I know Bill's probably the obvious, but Eberflus, yeah, I was.
100%.
I thought that was a slam dunk. Like that was.
I'll be honest. I don't know. I find it interesting that Allen still has a job in New Orleans.
Yeah, well, Dennis House is one of the worst head coaches of. Like his record is terrible. I don't understand it.
I'm a little interested in the Raiders having not named Antonio Pierce the full-time coach. I feel like that was like a slam dunk. They're just going to roll with it and give everyone loves them.
They fucked that up before. So
Pierce has got a couple calls.
I just assumed Black Monday they'd be like, Antonio Pierce, you've earned the job. Here you go.
I mean, Rich Bisaccia should have earned the job too. He got them to the playoffs and he didn't get a chance.
That's true.
Pierce is currently interviewing in Carolina, I believe.
Oh.
And Tennessee. They've requested him as well.
So
Is Doug Peterson still coaching the Jacks?
He should. He should be.
He should.
Should he?
Yeah.
Should he? Really?
Yes. I think 100.
They were like 8-3.
How much are we gonna? How much? What are we gonna do? What you predicted this team to lose one game this season? They lost out of the playoffs.
A lot.
So whose fault is it? Whose fault?
Trevor Lawrence played for the entire second half of the year. I think it's a fault that Trevor played injured for an entire half of the season.
Oh my! We're giving him another pass. We're giving him another pass.
He's only played one full healthy season, and they went to the playoffs and beat the Chargers in the first round. The first full year.
Hold on. Are we telling we're giving him a gold ball? So we're giving him the Daniel Jones.
I think we need.
Daniel Jones beat the best team in the league, the Vikings.
I'm giving Lawrence and I'm giving Peterson another year. This time with their new defensive coordinator that they just are going to get because they fired their guy. I'm going to give them one more year, and if nothing happens here, scratch it. Trade Trevor, fire Doug, start over, start from scratch because it's clearly not enough.
Well, I think
they were 8-3.
I thought they had the 1 seed. Like
I thought that
that's a collapse. What are we doing?
Well, I think the two main issues with the Jags is number one, the defense is nowhere near as good as they were projected to be.
No,
Secondly, they don't have a number one receiver. Calvin Ridley is not a number one. Christian Kirk is an overpaid wide receiver 3. They don't have,
and yet
they do not have consistent pass
catchers. Went down. They did.
And of course, Trevor has played like dog shit the last few weeks.
No. Trevor Lawrence has played shit his entire career in the NFL. He is a bad quarterback.
Great last year. It was great.
He was not. He went 25-9. That's not a great quarterback. That's a manageable quarterback. That is not.
Josh Allen last year. He was better than Josh Allen last year.
No, he wasn't.
100% was.
You're delusional. I just whatever. Keep giving it. You know what? Enjoy. Keep giving him a pass. Next year, same shit, different day. He is 15 in the league at best. He is 15. The only thing that gets everybody credit is because he is young. That is it. He does not have the balls to make a move when he has to. He does not change the game in any direction, and we're giving him shit because he doesn't. He has Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, and Kirk, and a great running back behind him. And we're not giving him. And Daniel Jones did the same thing with less. Like, what are we doing? I know deep down in your heart you just want. You want and you hope and you believe that Trevor Lawrence is going to be that guy. But at the end of the day, he isn't. I wanted so bad Jameis Winston when he came out of Florida State. I thought he was going to be the next guy. Guess what? Fucker wasn't. He just wasn't. It has how it works out. That guy cannot, like, if you took him over, we did this scenario, he still ended up around 14 in people. There's other quarterbacks out there that are better. So you can't give him the great title when there's that much difference. And if you're not going to blame Doug Peterson, and you're not going to, we're done with the excuses of the injury. That does not work when you suit up and you play. It does not work. If you're playing in the game and you're active on the field, you are playing and you have to perform. And if you can't, it's your fault. So who do you blame for that collapse?
I'll blame it on the defensive coordinator and the defense as a whole. I think the defense is the entire reason that the team fell apart.
So the defensive coordinator missed easy throws against the Titans.
No. The defensive coordinator couldn't stop the fucking terrible Titans offense, and that's a problem.
Well, name most of the league for Derrick Henry for most of his career. Yeah, he did. You should have stacked the box, but they didn't, and that was a bold choice.
I will say I have a work friend who's a Jaguars fan, and he thinks Press Taylor is some sort of offensive terrorist. So there is that too.
That is well.
Well, his first name is what defenses do, not what offenses do.
So you're saying he should Matt Patricia it and go to the defensive side?
Probably be better.
I just was the happiest ever. I bet the money line on the Titans. I knew exactly what the scenario was going to be. Everybody tried to talk me out of it. Yeah. Well, I don't believe in Trevor Lawrence. I also don't believe in the Dolphins. That's just. I believe there's.
Good. You finish.
I just believe there's flashy teams and they look good on paper, but overall they just never live up to it. Like, never. Like, and that's one of them. I think Trevor Lawrence is another. Trevor Lawrence, this date, the 10th of January, do not be surprised in 3 years when we're having the exact same discussion about a guy from USC. I see it all over the paper. I see Caleb Williams is not going to be the guy. He has struggled in college. He has done good against college defense, but when he faces hard defenses in college, he struggles. The NFL is way harder. If anybody's a tick higher than Notre Dame, God bless his soul, because the man is going to be crying on the field. And he had NFL talent wide receivers as his receivers. It's crazy.
Cody, I have a quick question about the confidence pick'em. So it's 1 point value for each game of the playoffs, correct?
Yes, you have 1 through 14 point value to use however you choose. So if you want to save 14 to the very end, you can. If you want to burn it week 1, you can, but you can never use it again.
Cool. All right.
I was blown away. Go ahead.
Speaking of flashy, I literally CJ Stroud comes out and does the 75-yard touchdown pass on the first play of that game. I was like, damn, like Houston's got their guy for the next like 10, 15 years if he can stay healthy. Like the dude's just insane. And I think Houston's gonna be fun to watch in the playoffs. I don't know if they are gonna go far, but I'm excited to watch Houston. I'm very happy that they won.
You can make the argument if you're in Cody's camp that Trevor Lawrence will end up being quarterback 4 of 4 in that division.
I'm taking him over Will Levis.
Depends if Anthony Richardson can stay healthy.
It's a coin flip. If we're being honest, it's a coin flip.
Yeah, I just don't like. If you want to see a quarterback do less with more, CJ Stroud is literally the definition. I'm sorry.
Superstars.
I agree. I think Tank Dell and Nico Collins are real good receivers, but no one would. If you started and you did the old put the lineup next to each other, quarterback Jags, running back Jags, wide receivers Jags, all line Jags, deep line Jags, it would all be, and they literally showed exactly who they were. That's the difference with CJ Stroud and Trevor Lawrence. He has the balls and actually the accuracy to hit the guys. He also, in his years in Ohio State, played with NFL caliber wide receivers his entire growing up. So like he played with Garrett Wilson, Njigba, Who else? Oh,
Yeah,
Chris
Marvin.
Olave, Marvin Harrison Jr. Like the man had the field. So he's chasing Dalton Schultz, Nico Collins, and Tank Dell's not even there, and they still won the division, which is his main target. So I thought that was impressive. Chargers are still going to – I switched. Everybody different. He'll bring up the standings at one point. I switched from the Chiefs because they rested all their players. I went to the Commanders, not because I thought the Commanders were win. I wanted them to win, but I knew I couldn't switch to, like, the Bills because I would see Nazara. No. I would have went 16-3 on picks with 2 times. I saw the board very well. I was pretty pleased. I ended up going, I think, 14-4.
First time?
So, huh?
First time?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Scully, you couldn't put in full week to, like, you did 4 total weeks yourself, so I would relax over there, buddy. And you did it when we picked 3. I don't think you did a solo one. It was since we did 3 picks on this show, so I would slow your roll. You have never done that record. Thank you very much.
But overall, better than you.
Huh?
But overall, better than you.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And that's what counts.
Coho and Robert are better than you. I will say. Coho kept you in this, and I think because of your 2 dumb picks, I think Mark won the regular season, if I'm correct,
No,
right?
because the Dolphins. That is why Mark won.
You picked the Bears.
Doesn't matter. I campaigned against the Dolphins.
That's very true.
It's not my fault.
You can bring up the score. You can bring up the score. You can bring up the records.
So official. End of the season, regular season 1. Boom!
Hell yeah.
Most wins. There we go.
Hey, I will say, good job, everybody. We were all above 500, so good job overall. That does take some picking. I beat Nazardo, so take it. Same losses.
Barely.
Well, Cody's your franchise, whether it's an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
Winning's winning. 11-7. Gosh, you guys suck the last season. Okay. So we're switching it up a little bit. Does anyone want to talk about any more? Congratulations to the Steelers. Made the playoffs. Get to keep Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
I still think if Mike Tomlin ever became available, he'd be the fastest swap coach with money given. Like, they want consistency, and that's what you do.
I got a quick question. At least for playoff teams, do we think anybody else is losing their job? Like, who's currently in the playoffs?
McCarthy.
I think McCarthy
could.
I mean,
if they lose to the Packers on Sunday, he's gone. He will.
I also think it's a discussion. If they don't make it to the championship game, he's gone.
Yes, that was what I was gonna say. I think McCarthy's out if they lose in the first or second round.
I'm in the
okay.
It is set up for them to get to the NFC title game.
It is.
No,
it is not though.
Joke.
He's not gonna make it.
Well,
it shouldn't be that hard.
It shouldn't be hard for them if they never lose
I
it.
would also say, if the Eagles walk over the Bucks in their current state, I think Tom Bowles could be on the hot seat.
Tom Bowles should be on the hot seat.
He should be. He's not a good coach.
Should be anyway. I also think that
Baker threw a bucket of water on that seat. I think Todd Bowles is fine for one more year.
I do think that if the Eagles go out first round of the Bucks,
no,
hold on. If the Eagles go first round, Sirianni back next year, but they have a full discussion about he's gone. They fire guys for way less than that.
No, they not.
No, they don't.
Not coming off a Super Bowl.
No, they don't.
They do. They fired fucking Andy Reid on a 1-1 year, but he had 6 great ones before it.
Bro, okay, I know that you just woke up one day in 2012 and decided, hey, I'm going to start watching. Andy Reid was there for fucking years. And after 4 NFC championships and Super Bowl, they were going to keep him regardless. Yeah. Chip Kelly was the only one that they said bye-bye.
Chip Kelly, if they lose to the Buccaneers, they are at least thinking it in the room.
No, they're not.
Yes, because if they have another bad year next year, Sirianni's fired.
You know what Sirianni can say? You know what Sirianni can say? When they code what happened between last year and this year, and he'd be like, I don't know. They took my entire fucking offense and defensive coordinator, and we had to learn on we had to readjust. These guys weren't the guys.
I'm just
they
saying,
would fire them before they fire Sirianni. I just don't know.
To the Buccaneers and then don't make it to the playoffs next year or lose in the first round again, they will fire Sirianni.
No.
100%.
No, the question was if they lose in the playoffs this year, not next year.
That's right.
What?
I was saying that's right.
We were talking about this year, not next year. That's what.
No, I'm just saying Sirianni's in a position where if he loses here, his career's on the line next season.
No, it's not.
I 100% think it is.
No, because you're not even factoring what ends up happening. Because I guarantee half of his offensive line does not stay. They have to rebuild the offensive line. They're going to give him a pass. I 100%. There's no way.
I don't know.
They hired him 2 seasons ago?
3, I think.
It'd have to be a pretty insane downfall. They'd have to go 2-15 or something.
Okay, but they had an insane collapse of this year that they shouldn't have had either.
I think we no. I think we all saw
Peterson and Sirianni are in the exact same position going into next season.
That's not true. One made the playoffs this year. The other completely fumbled it away.
I think it's worse to go into the playoffs and lose to the NFC South champion in the first round than it is to miss the playoffs.
No, it's not.
100%. In this,
how is that?
So if the problem is that you have potential, if you have so much potential and you fuck it up, then why is Kevin O'Connell not fired?
Yeah,
Kevin O'Connell again should get another year.
Why?
He did great last year, and he did great this year, but the team around him was not great. He was not the problem.
Oh, that's not what I heard. Wait a minute.
He did great. You promised me a lion sweep.
I did.
You said Josh Dobbs.
Nick Mullins twice, Nazario.
But no, you said Josh.
Put him in the game.
Yeah.
Woo! Our options are Dobbs, Jared Hall, and Nick Mullins.
Which you said Hall was going to be good.
I said let's see how he does. I didn't say he was going to be good.
And you shaved your fucking head for Dobbs.
Well, I mean, I didn't want to pick the Vikings over the Packers, but you forced my hand because
I did because I don't see the Packers being anything.
Oh, here we go. No. They're not a bad team.
They are a bad team.
They're the 4th youngest team to ever make the playoffs, I think.
Yeah, and all their receivers can't catch a ball.
Wow.
Oh, dude.
I'm not sure about that.
We're doing less in it. Listen, Nazario and Mark, we're gonna have a discussion in the offseason. We gotta eliminate one of these North people out of it. They don't understand logic. They just foam at the mouth. They just talk a bunch of bullshit. Your situation, and I think it's really funny, your Vikings are the Eagles of this year. Last year was the Vikings this year. So my viewpoint is they got a lot of one-score games. They got lucky to win, and they started collapsing near the end. That's what ends up happening. They're not going to fire him if he loses in Tampa. They could see, hey, the decline was happening. They have to figure it out. But I could also see this as a team. I know it's weird, but this is a team that gets into the playoffs and plays differently. Yeah, I don't know where it can come, but they can. It's just, I think the Chiefs. Everybody wouldn't be fucking surprised right now if Kansas City is sitting in the AFC Championship game. They don't belong there. They shouldn't be there. But what if they're there?
The differences between Philly and Minnesota is expectations. Minnesota was maybe a playoff team this year. Philly we're winning the Super Bowl this year. Run it back.
Stop it. You and I both know that almost every single pundit that didn't have Detroit as division champion had Minnesota.
That's true.
Not a lot of people bought into the whole fact that the 11-0 one-score game record was going to change. If they did, they had it knocked down by a couple games and had the Vikings at 10-7 instead of 13-4.
Sure.
And beating the Lions. who are first place in that division. You and I both know that they were just as popular as the Lions were in preseason picks. So
I don't disagree, but I'm saying the expectation as a franchise is not to win the Super Bowl because we're the fucking Vikings. That we don't believe in ourselves ever. But the fucking Eagles were talking about we're winning the Super Bowl as soon as they won last year's Super Bowl.
But if you're a playoff team, your expectations should be to win a Super Bowl.
I agree. I agree, but what I'm saying
that is some of the most dumb logic ever. The owner of the team goes, "We're the franchise, we're the Vikings. Fuck it, we don't care. Why do we do this? We're doing it."
The point that I'm trying to make is that the Vikings' expectations are a lot more tempered than Philadelphia, who said we're winning the Super Bowl immediately after losing it. They were like, "We're going right back."
They should.
But they should. If they were that good, they should have kept. They should have been better than they were in the last season.
They lost their offensive and defensive coordinator.
I understand. What I'm saying is that the GM and the owner of the fucking Super Bowl, and if they lose first round to Baker fucking Mayfield and Todd Bowles, they're going to talk about firing someone.
Do you know who also promises a Super Bowl after they lose in the playoffs? Every single player and coach of every losing team ever.
Sure. My point is this is the team that we all thought was going to do it.
You do realize that, like, the Eagles are going to fucking destroy Tampa Bay, right?
I don't know if they will. They look after losing to the Giants.
They're gonna kick their ass so fucking hard.
They look like
that nobody will be talking about. Well,
you sure about that?
Yeah, more and more.
Yeah. I'm calling that.
You hear about that? Hey, Mark and Mark.
In the last month and a fucking half that has given you any confidence about the Eagles.
Mark and Robert, I still need your guys' pick before we can do picks. Just to let you know.
Wait, do I just gotta send you a picture or something? Or
whatever, sure. Well, if I can read it and you show me the team that won and the points, that's all I need. Team that wins and your points.
So I need to do that for every matchup, or you mean for this week?
This week.
Just this week, because we don't know next week's.
Obviously, yeah. Okay.
Don't guess.
Oh
shit!
We're the Vikings. We're gonna lose. Why? Oh, you sent to the wrong one.
Even if the Bears, even in 2020, when the Bears were 8-8, and we limped into the playoffs, and when we lost, I still had a fit because there were still a few plays where I thought we could have won the game. I don't go into playoff games thinking, "Oh, we're not going to win. We're going to fucking lose." No, I go into every game.
We're the Vikings. We're going to lose.
We're the Vikings. We find a way to fuck it up every year. I'm just saying.
I go into every game thinking my life will end. My life will end if we do not win this game. That's called being a fan.
The 7
I am always wanting to win, and I scream
7 and 9 Seahawks.
I know who we are.
The 7 and 9 Seahawks that qualified to the playoffs like 12 years ago beat Drew Brees and the Saints, who were one of the favorites that season to win the fucking Super Bowl in the first round of the playoffs. Some teams just decide to show up later. I think the playoffs give you who people truly are. And this is why I'm saying the Eagles are going to be okay. The Dolphins are going to fucking be destroyed. That is just the nature of who they are.
You also have the fact that the Eagles are playing in warm Tampa Bay, and the Dolphins are playing on a frozen stick of grass.
And whose fault is that?
Philly.
No, it is Miami's fault for not being able to fucking win after taking 3 turnovers.
Yes, but that's also Philly's fault for choking 6 games that they should have had.
But I don't believe you. I don't believe you can put. I do not believe you can put those losses on Sirianni. I just don't. He, at the end of the day, he did everything in his power to try to reverse it. He switched play calling. He tried to figure something out. He tried to take over responsibilities. If we're talking about a person that gets a pass for an injury, Jalen Hurts has been injured all season long.
I agree.
No one's talking about it. He is injured. His knee is fucked. But we're going to get a report at the end of the season that he is getting knee surgery. It will 100% be the case.
I don't think Sirianni should be fired. I'm just saying Philly is fucking insane and will do some shit like that.
No, they're not, though.
They're
not.
They're not mad.
They're not.
They are.
I'm going to call back to like several months ago when I talked about
when were they temperamental? last time?
Scully, go ahead and talk.
He's trying to find up his points because he doesn't
Anyways,
know them because he doesn't.
I remember back in like week 4 or 5 when I talked about Zach Taylor and the whole Jamar Chase situation about how some coaches will demand that their players sit and rest up for later on in the season. Well, A.J. Brown was banged up over the course of the beginning of the season. What did Nick Sirianni do? He held him out until he was healthy. That kind of discipline in your locker room will lead to greater respect amongst the players and the management for your head coaches. So it doesn't matter if the Eagles lose 50-0 on Monday night. Nick Sirianni is not going to lose his job. He's going to be in Philly long term because they're going to want him to see through this roster reconstruction when all those veterans on both sides of the trenches start retiring and leaving. He's the guy that's going to lead them through this little slog, no matter how long it takes. They're looking at him to be the next Andy Reid in terms of that, and I think that's what's going to happen.
What did we find, Coho? You Googled something. What did we find?
I still think Andy Reid and Doug Peterson were cut off too soon. I think both got
What?
fired.
How long? How long were they? How long were the
Peterson
stints?
got fired a year and a half after he won a Super Bowl.
I'm not asking that. What was their stint? How long?
Peterson got 4 years.
Okay, and what was his record the year that he lost?
I had it. I just closed it.
Go search it again.
I remember.
4-11-1.
Yeah.
Huh?
4-11-1.
Yeah. So we're talking. Yeah, we're not talking about like a minor collapse. We're talking about a realistic collapse.
That's fair.
It was also a year where the Eagles were the only for sure made team in the NFC East, and they fumbled the division.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what we're saying. And then Andy Reid got cut too soon. Please show me. Please, I need you to Google how long Andy Reid was the head coach.
You could have had Andy Reid for 20. You could have had Andy Reid the entire career.
Okay. But here's the thing. After 14 years of no Super Bowl but constant chances, don't you think it's time to change the scenery?
I mean, he only
They changed it to Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly didn't work. They changed it to Doug Peterson. They got a championship. So clearly it worked out for them. And Andy, great success there. But he wasn't going to have that success because he wasn't able to get over the hump. He was always the coach that could never get the big one. That's everybody called. He's the greatest regular season coach. He's the great offensive mind, but he can't win the big one. And then he finally was able to do it with Mahomes. That's great for him, but he was never going to do it in Kansas City.
By the way, as a person who had to suffer from Chip Kelly for one season, fuck that guy.
God, he's so bad.
Well, yeah, he's fucking terrible.
He does pitch a really good idea for college football, but that's besides the point.
I still like playing Madden 17 and seeing him on the sidelines.
Yeah. I liked when you played Old Madden where you could go out and tackle the head coach on the sidelines. That was always fun. Want to pull up? Coho has now slimmed it down. We have done the power rankings going into the playoffs. So we will drop out teams that lose, but
I thought we were gonna have non-playoff teams above playoff teams, and it's gonna be.
I mean, that would have been cute. I could have sold the Vikings to
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was waiting for the Vikings of the Packers.
It was probably a likely situation, but it's not. So, 1, 2, 3, fuck. Here it goes.
Okay. And then you're free to ask questions. Why I do behind the scenes stuff.
All right.
Holy Mother of God.
I mean,
what's your Holy Mother of God?
Well, it lies in number 12, 9, 8. Well, honestly, really pick half the numbers, and yeah.
I'm surprised the Rams are so high.
What's your question?
Clearly, he believes that they're going to beat the Lions.
Rosario, do you have a question, or is this just a statement?
It's a statement. They beat the bench of the Niners by 1 point because Moody missed a point after.
Yes, and the Rams
because Sean McVay decided to push Carson Wentz into an area where he could make a completion. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's
Taught Carson Wentz how to throw a ball again. It was wild.
Man, it was crazy how it almost came down to them being the 7th seed, having to go to Dallas, and then that miracle. And then watching Green Bay, I'll tell you, Jordan Love's fun to watch. I will say that. Like, I think he's a good quarterback. I think he'll be fine.
16-1 touchdown to interception ratio over the last 8 weeks, I think is what it ended up being.
And he's putting balls in like spots that is crazy. Like, it just works for him. He doesn't throw unless there's 3 people around him.
That Jordan Love would have the same touchdown interception ratio in the last 8 weeks as Coho thought that the Jags were going to have the whole season. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? I think that's fun.
Are there questions? Or
I mean,
this is uncomfortable.
I'm sad.
Okay.
Look, I'm sorry, Robert. I want the Steelers to do better, but without TJ Watt,
you're like really garbled, and when you sighed, it sounded like Chewbacca.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a robot in here.
Yeah.
Oh, is that better?
Yeah.
Yes, you are now no longer.
Yeah, AirPods just suck. I don't know what to tell everybody. Okay, so we are going to go playoff game by playoff game. We're going to have an open discussion, and we're going to reveal the points that we picked for them at the end. So the first game on the slate, it will be 3:30 on Saturday. Cleveland Browns and Joe Flacco will be traveling to Houston to play CJ Stroud, the Stroud Boys. So
the Stroud winning boys. A game on January
6th.
I'm voting for the Stroud Boys. So not that we do betting here. I wish we did. We need to incorporate that at some point.
I bet nobody takes it.
Yeah, but this is a different kind of betting. This is like sports. So Cleveland is favored by 2.5. The over/under is 44.5. You can also get the Houston Texans money line at plus 120. Home team favorite. So who's got a thought on this game overall?
44.5 feels like they think it's going to be high scoring, and I don't know. When you got Myles Garrett running at CJ Stroud, I don't know. CJ Stroud is great, but the Browns defense is strong. I don't know.
It's on 21-24?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
It's not 44 for one team.
I understand that. I in my brain I didn't divide it that way.
I mean
that's still a little high. If I'm being honest,
a little high to me still.
I
don't know if it's
well. To be fair, Cleveland away from Cleveland's defense. If we look at those statistics, they are pretty eye-opening. Cleveland has not played well on the road. Let's look at their away games. Their away games since the start at Steelers put up 26. At Colts 38-39. At Seattle 24 put on them. At Ravens 33 or 31. They actually won that game. Buffalo at Broncos they end up losing.
They get 12 men on the field.
Yeah, 12 men. Yeah. Even at home versus Jacksonville, they put 31-27. The Rams beat them 36-19. So away from the stadium, pretty rough. And it looks like this game has already been played. Don't know if y'all remember.
Right.
It was at Houston.
Amari Cooper had 800 yards.
36-22.
Yeah, Houston won 36-22, so the over would very much clear on that one. I don't know if that was when Myles Garrett was injured or not. I don't know if he was on the field.
There was no Stroud.
And no Stroud. Was Stroud not there?
Stroud wasn't there.
No, it was Keenum Davis Mills.
Oh, it was Davis Mills. Was
and Case
two touchdowns.
Who was quarterback for the Browns in that game?
Flacco.
He threw for like 360 something.
368, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
The last time we saw Joe Flacco, he put up 31 points against the Jets, which is I
think the line actually makes a lot of sense there. Myles Garrett was on the field. He only got 3 tackles. So the game's already been played. So this is interesting. But again, playoffs are different. Joe Flacco and them had rest. They've kind of figured out their rhythm. I don't know when Flacco started.
Jacksonville. So week 14.
So kind of got it figured out. They have a game plan. They knew exactly who they. Well, they didn't know exactly who they were playing. I shouldn't say that. They probably thought they were playing Jacksonville. Any takeaways before we reveal points in this game? Anybody think strongly one way or the other?
I think it's
I
going
think this is the hardest game to pick of the whole fucking weekend to me.
Okay.
It does not matter. It does not matter how Houston finishes. They will always play the first game of wild card weekend.
Yeah, they just do not. They just do not care about them at all, do they?
They don't like them. They can have a bye and they might still play in the first game.
Just something to keep track of. On January 6th, the Stroud boys win. On the 13th, they get locked up. That month.
Ooh, I like it. Indoor stadium. I think they'll definitely have a game plan for what went wrong last time. I'm also a big fan of. I don't like to win the first game of a series. If you play them twice, I don't want to be the first one because I think it can reverse. You kind of figure your stuff out. Okay, so we'll start. Okay, so I have everybody's picks. So one person is picking Houston. Everybody else is picking the Browns. Will the Houston picker please stand up? Or you can raise your hand. Okay. All right. I like the fist raise. Nice. Okay.
The opposite of Stroud boys.
So what makes you feel Houston, and what is your points for this game?
I do think that home advantage has some value, especially when the Browns have not played well on the road. I also think that CJ Stroud, with one season under his belt and having the experience of what he didn't add to the other game that they already won, will make a difference. Flacco's a good story. Flacco is a nice comeback, fairy tale that's gonna fucking end badly. He's gonna turn back into the Toad, and probably it's gonna be this weekend. So I'm saying it's gonna be close because it's not an easy game to pick, but I'm letting the size fall into the logistical part of it, which is home team, rookie superstar quarterback. Nice story.
Spoken like a man who is truly quaking his boots at the thought of playing Flacco in the Super Bowl again.
No.
You already know Flacco with two different teams.
Hey, it could be the year of hardball. So
do you honestly think the Browns will make it better than us?
Nobody.
I wouldn't count.
I think it's on the table.
So everybody else has picked the Browns. Most confident is not me. I am at 3 points. I put 3 points on the Browns to win this. I think overall, I like the defense. I think they picked something. They figured something out. I think Joe Flacco has a confidence. I think that rest and that preparation is going to do them a lot of favors. I think their overall defense will be able to pull up some scheme to be able to help. I think in every area that team's just better. And they got the 5 seed because Baltimore had such a good record. Like, they're arguably, if Baltimore fumbles, they would have been like, what? They'd be 2 seed.
Yep.
If they just did a reseed, they didn't care about divisions. Yeah. So overall, I'm at 3. Anybody else join me with 3 points? Or any 4? Okay, Coho doesn't remember. Coho also put 3 points. I was trying to engage the conversation. Thanks for paying attention to the show.
No, I was just checking what I had. I had to see how many points I had.
Okay, so your same lane or thoughts?
Yeah, basically. I mean, I ultimately I'm gonna. It's basically between the rookie of the year, the offensive rookie of the year, and the defensive player of the year, and I'm gonna go with the experienced defensive player of the year that is Myles Garrett. I think Myles Garrett is scary. And I think
he's Garrett winning defensive player.
I think Myles Garrett.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. I don't think I can name another person who's been playing better than Myles Garrett all year. About his fucking leg.
TJ Watt.
Like he played all the way to the end.
Yeah, but
it's a regular season award, and he led the league in sacks for the 3rd time, which nobody's ever done.
Maybe.
That's true.
I don't know. I think Myles Garrett or TJ Watt, but I think Myles Garrett is probably going to win.
No, he will win, and he didn't do anything the last 2 years.
But I just think it'll be interesting to see Stroud having Myles Garrett pressure on him in a playoff setting. I think it'll maybe just lean Flacco and the Browns this time.
All right. Next confident person would be at 4 points. Who's that?
That was me.
Oh, thanks for paying attention. Who you got?
I got the Browns. I think this is going to be one of those. I like Kevin Stefanski a lot as head coach of the Browns. I think he's one of the best head coaches in the league with what he has worked with in terms of building this roster up and really getting the best out of his players. This game kind of reminds me of 2020, 2021, that wildcard game against Pittsburgh, where in the regular season, Pittsburgh, they started, 11-0? They made everybody their bitch for about 2/3 of that season. And then Cleveland went in there in the wildcard game and just beat the living crap out of that defense.
Wow.
Baker had arguably one of the best games of his entire career. You had playoff Flacco with playoff Kevin Stefanski.
I like it.
I loved what D'Amico Ryans has done. I love CJ Stroud. I think it'll be close, but I think the Browns. I think this game could be a track meet, like 40-30 or something. But I think the Browns put up a lot of points on the board. I think they win.
Okay, next one is 5 points. Who's got it?
It's me.
Okay.
5. First, let's set some records straight. The Steelers did not beat the shit out of a lot of people when they went 11-0. They almost lost to fucking Gilbert in Dallas and shit. Gary Gilbert and shit. That game was over when potential Hall of Famer Marquise Pouncey threw the ball over a 6'5" quarterback in the end zone the first play. I knew that was bad. I didn't even catch that play. It happened so fast.
Oh, I remember that. That was funny.
Yeah, no, I remember everything about it, and that game haunts my dreams. No, I was asked about this. My one friend was like, "You don't give the Texans any shot." I'm like, I don't trust the Texans defense. The only person who's good on that defense, in my opinion, is Will Anderson, and he's a rookie. And then maybe if the Texans had Tank Dell, maybe if I knew Noah Brown was going to play healthy, I'd feel a little bit more confident. But they're going to rely heavily on Nico Collins, and the Browns have a good secondary to combat that. Flacco impressed me by being able to put up 31 points the last time he played against the Jets. I know it was at home, but still, that's pretty impressive against the defense that's markedly better than the Texans. So, yeah, AFC North pride, I guess, but I hate them. And Kevin Stefanski's going to win Coach of the Year twice. You know who else won Coach of the Year twice? Riverboat Ron Rivera.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe Harbaugh wins a Coach of the Year.
Cam Newton won them.
Chuck Noll won 4 Super Bowls. He never won a Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I was just finding the betting odds. Yeah, it looks like Michael Parsons is plus 300, but it looks like Myles Garrett is minus 200 to win the award.
Yeah, he's going to win it.
Nice. He didn't hit anybody with a helmet this year. Good job.
Where-
Okay.
What happened?
Yeah, what a year of comebacks. Mason Rudolph getting the comeback.
And then I like the Browns. Scully liked the Browns. Robert liked the Browns. Coho loved the Browns. There's one person that fucking loved the Browns. What's up, Mark? How many points did you put on the Browns?
Okay, I'm just gonna put it this way: this is either gonna be a really good weekend for me, or it's gonna be really bad. I'll probably, if it goes poorly, I'll be the one doing the punishment for sure. So I put a big 13 points.
Holy fuck.
Browns. 13 big ones.
You put 12.
I put 12. I put 13.
You put 12.
It's still a lot.
Oh yeah, I did put 12. Okay.
Still,
Well, one team gets the big 13. I'll reveal that later. 12 points. I think. Listen, Joe Flacco has somehow turned back the clock. The guy just looks spectacular right now. I mean, he is kind of playing like vintage Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's just kind of throwing up prayers and, like, whenever it's going good, it's going good. And logic to say at some point, he's going to go up against a decent defense, and he's going to look shitty and throw like 7 picks in a game, but it hasn't happened yet. Playoff Joe Flacco, great. I love the Texans. I don't know if there's a person in this call that had them winning more than 5 games this season.
Yeah.
Like we all thought.
I wasn't here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You didn't have them for 5 games.
Yeah, come on.
I picked them for more than 5.
What, 6?
I thought they were going to be 8 and 9.
No, you didn't.
I don't buy that.
The point is, we all thought
Check the picks.
we all thought they were going to be bad, and they won the division, which is incredible. But if you're, we're looking at it, and what C.J. Stroud is great, but he's going to be playing a playoff game, and I think I'm going to go with experience this one, especially over a good defense. And also, I just love the story. I mean, I want so badly to tune in next week and see the Ravens play the Browns in a divisional matchup. I think that would be amazing.
Okay. So the next
that'll be a
game,
Nelson Romo game if that happens.
the next game, the frozen tundra of Kansas City, Missouri. Chiefs host the Dolphins. The first hit to that ground is going to wake up some Dolphins real fast. It is not. They are not built for this. There is a team that is built for this. There is a team that will be ready. Now, will the receivers catch balls? Not so sure. But this is a clean sweep from everybody on the panel. We have all picked the Kansas City Chiefs. So that means the Dolphins are winning.
Yeah.
That's just there. You can't put 6 minds in one room, pick everything, and then something else. It just it's bound
to Dolphins real quick.
I got it last week.
There's 2 people that are less confident than the rest of us, I would say. Starting with the guy that swore the Browns to win 12. He comes back with the Chiefs for how many points for you?
I just got to double check. 2 points. Yes, 2 points.
Nope.
Christ.
Probably should have reversed those.
I get it.
I love this.
Just wait. He has some wild picks.
Listen, I don't know what Nazari was talking about, like the Browns and the Texans being the hard. This is by far the hardest game to pick. These are 2 teams that honestly look bad going into the playoffs. Neither of them look very good. And I don't think, even if they kind of did look good last week, who's going to fucking trust them? I barely trust the Chiefs right now. It would not surprise me at all if Miami just fell ass backwards into winning this game the way they beat Dallas. Just anything could happen. I mean, if we get to the point where this game, it's 24-21, and it's a 3rd down, and Patrick Mahomes throws up a ball to Kadarius Toney, that's a very likely thing that could fucking happen. I'm picking the Chiefs because I believe that I don't think the Chiefs are gonna be one and done, but it wouldn't shock me either. It would honestly not shock me at all if both of the Super Bowl teams from last year both lose this weekend. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility at all. I think honestly it's somewhat likely to happen.
No, I'm with you 100%. I've picked higher point values, but I would not be blown away. Next, most confident or least confident is guy right above you.
Nice. I put 4 on it. I'm concerned that the Chiefs are going to maybe be the Chiefs they've been in the regular season and choke it. I'm more believing that Patrick Mahomes will turn it on in the offseason. The Chiefs will be okay. Which is why I'm betting on them. But I'm not going to blow a high point value on a game that I can see getting away from them on some bullshit drops and some bad calls. So,
what about the rest of the team? Will they show up? Mahomes will, but what about everyone else?
Sometimes Mahomes is all it takes. Maybe not for 18 games, but for 1, maybe.
If Taylor is there, Kelsey will show up.
True.
No, he won't. Shut up
Really?
last couple
She-
games and he sucked.
Do you think
show
she's
up
going
for
to
Golden
show
Globe.
up to negative 16? My ass will be watching from the. I don't care how warm the booth is. I'm watching from the TV.
I don't care how good the dick is. I'm watching that at home.
Holy shit.
I mean, you said what we all would have said, so that's
Yeah.
fair. Thanks, Scully. He's a Bears fan. We don't support him or trust anything he says.
All right, Joe Coy over there in the corner.
Jesus Christ. Talk about a bombing performance that was. Okay, so third most confident would be me. I put 7 points on the Chiefs. I put 7 points. Nice middle of the road, can recover if this goes south. But I've seen this scenario so many times, and I know this is different than it has been. I get it. This is way different than it's used to be. But if something I've seen so many times, Arrowhead, Chiefs, I live around these fans. They're crazy people. Tua shrinks, and I mean shrinks when the pressure's there.
He shrinks in the cold.
He kind of already played a playoff game. I know it wasn't a playoff game, but he played it. He played against the Bills when pressure was on the line and didn't do what he needed to do, which I think it just shows where he's at. They're a team that beats good, and we've already seen this scenario. They played in London. I'm not saying that it's the same scenario, but like they scored all their points in the first half and didn't have to score any points after. Like, I think their defense. I honestly think the Chiefs' defense is
very good. I think
it's what Brady had like for some of his Super Bowls. Like, the defense is strong, the offense isn't there. Nick Bolton and that defense, I think, is just going to be able to contain people, and that's what I think. 7 points. Me and Robert are kind of in. No,
we're not.
Me and Scully are kind of in lockstep. He put 8 points, so you similar to me.
Yeah, there's I think 3 things people need to keep in mind. Number 1, Steve Spagnuolo becomes a different beast in January. He fights for he coaches like his job is on the line every single year in the playoffs.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
He's been there. He's been around the block more times than anybody can count.
He's not a fan of Black Monday.
No. Number 2, it is cold. Nobody in that Dolphins in that Dolphins locker room, except for Tyreek, knows what it's like up there in Arrowhead in January. And Tyreek's one man. Tua's going to throw that ball up there, and that number 2 overall ranked secondary is going to be there to catch it. I wouldn't be shocked if he throws 4 picks that game.
Yeah, it's going to be a wind gust too. They're
3,
going to have to trust the run only. Yeah.
Number 3, their pass rush is decimated. Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, they just signed Justin Houston off the street for this.
Oh, there's another guy who knows about Kansas City. It's 2.
Isaiah Pacheco might run for 150 yards.
Yeah,
he's going to pound that grass so hard the ice is going to crack underneath the stadium. But it could very well be the case where it's a close game and a receiver bobbles. It ends up like the fucking Lions game where a receiver bobbles a pass and somebody picks it off and goes the other way. Like, that can easily happen. So that's why I only have it at 8. But this is going to be like a 21-10 slugfest.
Okay.
Also, don't count out MVS as choking away the game. He has potential to do that as well.
This is true.
Next to lockstep, 14 points. Both locked it in, the most guaranteed.
Yeah.
So anything you can, I mean, you guys we've said a lot, so not like thoughts.
It's fucking freezing. The only guy who knows the thing is Tyreek Hill, and the guy who has to throw to him is a guy from Hawaii, beach town, hot shit, that lives and plays on Miami all fucking season long. You think that guy's gonna be able to throw that fucking rock, which is just what the ball's gonna be, a fucking frozen ass rock, anywhere that makes sense?
You thought Peyton was out in the cold? Wait till you see Tua.
Wait till you see Tua.
Also, Kansas City is a team that has fucking experience in the last few years. And yes, Patrick Mahomes will be the difference maker in this game. He will have, even if he had to tattoo fucking Tony by shoving the balls into his chest so hard it sticks there, he's gonna make them catch the ball. Monster runs pretty well, but he's gonna have some like cold knee issues and shit because he's like ancient. So I mean, come on, man. If there's a one sure thing that's gonna happen in the playoffs this year, it's this game.
Robert.
Yeah, you think strategy-wise, and you think as it gets deeper in the playoffs, it's harder to be confident necessarily. And as Nazario said, this is the one thing I'm confident of, is that I don't see any real scenario where the Kansas City chokes this away. I mean, it's crazy. Like Mahomes, I agree with what Scully said about Pacheco, but even if Mahomes can't get the ball or gets the ball to receivers and they don't catch it, he'll just run the ball for like 60 yards himself to make sure that it gets down the field. Like in that type of weather and environment, I trust Patrick Mahomes and I trust Andy Reid to be able to find a way to beat a team that doesn't want to be there. I mean, like last week, they didn't have Waddle. They didn't have Mostert. Achane was running the ball well, and he had like 8 carries. They could have won that game had they just ran the ball more, and they refused to. And this is a game where they should run the ball, and they probably will refuse to again because Mike McDaniel likes to try to prove what kind of cool offensive wonderkind he is, like throwing the ball in the 2023 type of NFL season. And that's not what
he's still trying to prove that he's better than Shanahan. That's the thing. And nobody buys it.
No, not at all.
All right. So this is pretty eye-opening. I'm going to let one person talk first, and then the rest of us can talk. He wouldn't be a fan if he didn't. I support the pick. 1 point for the Steelers. Robert picked it. Which, I mean, if the Bears were here, if the Vikings were here, if the 49ers were here, and it was a mismatch, you all would bet for your team. So 1 point, you were at least smart with it. You didn't put 14. It is supposed to be hellish conditions. So it could favor a Mike Tomlin 9-6 game. But what's your thoughts?
I think the TJ Watt thing's a little overblown in this sense because usually they never had a second, like a guy to replace him. They have 2 decent guys now, guys who have made plays over the last 3 weeks. Buffalo's been in playoff mode. The Steelers have been in playoff mode the last 3 weeks too. I think about the line of 10 points is way too high. It's like way too high. I don't give a shit what kind of Josh Allen shows up. He's going to turn the ball over. I believe Buffalo does not want to tackle a 230-pound Najee Harris who's been good, really good the last 2 weeks in the snow, in the wind. I just foresee a scenario where they can pull out a win, especially because I believe that Mason Rudolph, who hasn't turned the ball over, can hit a couple deep shots, keep this game close. And if it's close, I trust our ability to not put the ball in the Bills' hands, whereas they could put the ball in our hands. So I'm going, it's not confident because obviously the Bills are a lot of people's darlings. If people don't want to pick the Ravens, they want to pick the Bills. I just feel like there's a lot of factors here, mostly the weather, but the line and the nobody believes in us because of the Watt thing that made me want to go with the Steelers. I truly believe.
Let me tell you this. If you're right, you may win the whole thing because 1, 2, 3, 4 of us all picked it for 13 points.
Okay. Yeah.
One person picked it for 8 points.
Yeah.
I believe Buffalo, we on this podcast said they're dead. They were one was emphatic by saying, no, okay, Nazario did not. One was emphatic that they were dead. They were making the playoffs. Since firing the offensive coordinator, they're 6-1. Coho had to eat some words on that. He was pretty adamant that they won't be because the Dolphins, they ended up winning the division. They're the 2nd seed in Buffalo. They're used to that weather. That wind is the most affected of any stadium is in Buffalo. I think Allen can run too, so I think even in that situation, I think they'll be fine. Steelers do hit very hard, very rough. I could see some injuries coming from this game, so I don't know how Buffalo would feel after it. So I'll get my money while I can. Nazario, why are you not as confident? You're kind of middle of the road, but you've been the Buffalo champion all year long, basically.
What do you know?
Yeah,
What do you know? What do you know?
I still have faith that the Bills are gonna make it to the Super Bowl. Will keep picking their ass if they keep moving forward. However, they do have a knack to break your heart at the worst possible time. This is why I was completely sure they would just fucking run the table by the end of the season and fucking steal the division title from the Dolphins, because it made it so much crappier when they lose to a shitty team like the Steelers. So I want to have faith. I want to think that Josh Allen is just going to keep chucking it and people will keep catching it. Not like the other team, but like his own team. But also, like, it's a very, very sobering fact that it would suck if the Steelers win. So I actually wrote 13. Then I went like, no, let's do 8. That feels about right.
I honestly would be really happy if the Steelers did win. Like, I like when the Steelers are good. Like, I like Mike Tomlin a lot, so I wouldn't be the most upset.
I will say if the Steelers win, they will make life difficult on Baltimore in the next week. I truly believe it.
That is true.
Oh, I agree. We all did 13, so I'm pretty sure the same scenario is the same. We can move on. We're all very confident in them winning.
Yeah.
Next game, this is going to be another quick one. We are all in lockstep. It is all Dallas. There are 2 12s. There are 2 14s.
Yeah.
There's a 6 and a 2. Me and Scully are the 14s. Robert and Coho are the 12s. Marcus 6 and Dallas at 2 points for Nazario. I understand why that's there. We'll talk in a second. I've seen the Packers. I like the Packers. I think the Packers are a good team. I think they're young. I think they'll have that team for a while. In Dallas, I am worried in Dallas. Like, I believe shit happens in Dallas that are not supposed to happen. I believe Jerry pays off some people. I believe they're going to make it past this round. And I just think Jordan Love's a little too inexperienced against that defense, that he's going to make some mistakes. He likes to throw into where 3 people are standing around. And then in Jerry world, that's a bad idea. That's a very bad idea. So would I be upset if the Packers beat the Cowboys? Absolutely not. I'm okay with losing 14 points. I would smile from ear to ear. But I just don't see it. Real quick, Nazario, what has you? Is it just because Dallas is Dallas?
Yes, basically, it is the fucking Cowboys. They will suck, but as I put it in the balance, I was gonna go fucking Packers. I was like, yeah, Packers got the hot hand. They have Jordan Love. They are the cool young hip team. Maybe they're gonna be able to pull this shit off. It could happen. It still could happen. But then when you see that the game is in Dallas and Dallas is undefeated at home this year, and they have CeeDee Lamb and they have, Dak, so they shouldn't lose. But it's still the Cowboys. So if I'm gonna pick them, it's gonna be a very, very safe bet, as low as I can muster, other than the other match that I think is the hardest one to pick. But same as you, if the Packers win, I'm just gonna laugh it off and enjoy myself and message Jim Green immediately.
Same.
He's on a cruise right now. I don't think he cares either way.
Scully, I think this is a little bit anti-Packer hate and Cowboys dominance. Like, I think that's you and Coho both. Like, you will give no. They could win the Super Bowl, and you would call them frauds, trash, garbage teams. And
They're always bad. They're always the worst. I fucking hate them.
Because this is the battle between two teams who always get the calls, and it'll be fun to see who gets the calls this week.
Did you say they just got the calls in your game?
Yes.
Well, you couldn't find the end zone, so what was the problem?
Well, Fields got his head taken off and no flag was called. So.
Oh, that was shoulder. You're so ridiculous.
Okay.
He was committed.
Think McCarthy will absolutely bury Green Bay now that Aaron Rodgers is not in Green Bay. I think he's going to take that dub, and I just think at home Dallas is just going to
Love did more with this team than Rodgers did.
Yeah, and I still think they're a shit team. Still bad.
They did more than them.
I think they have.
By the way, Scully supports soft football. Scully supports soft football.
I support protecting quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah, protecting quarterbacks. I bet if Sweat took Jordan Love and put him through the field, you'd be like, what's the penalty? It doesn't deserve that.
No, I would take Sweat off for a play and then put him back in and have him do it again the next play.
No protecting quarterbacks there. Okay. Anybody have anything else on the Green Bay Packers?
I'm tired of losing.
Okay. Next game, probably the most divided. Oh, okay. There's only two. Everybody else is on the one side. Me and Robert are on Detroit.
Oh.
We have 2 points on it.
Yeah.
I so many people are on my side of this.
I 100% think the Rams could totally take it, but I think Detroit first playoff game in 30 years. I think they're going to play. And I've seen a different Lions team. Their defense is really bad, but their offense has picked up. I don't know if Laporta is playing. I don't know.
He said he'd give it a go. It's in flux.
Well, It would take a miracle for him to be anywhere near functional.
Yeah, I mean, if he's in the goal line, if he's just at the goal line and can jump, I'll take that. He'll be fine. But yeah, I have 2 for 2 points. I think me and Robert are kind of in lockstep with this. Is like it could definitely. That's why it's 2 points for both of us. But we think Detroit has enough to win it.
Yeah, I didn't want to jump on the Rams bandwagon. Did you see the stat where like since 2021, since the trade, like Goff and Stafford have like the same? They're like the same.
Yeah.
The stats are the same. Exactly the
I
same.
mean, Goff led them to a Super Bowl, regardless if they like to admit it or not. He did. He was there.
Yeah, it's too bad he couldn't. They have the thing where like Garoppolo was one throw away from winning a Super Bowl. He just missed Marquise Goodwin, I think. Goff never got that chance in that Super Bowl because the team was so bad they could not do anything.
No, what they did though. That they did at the end of the first half. He just missed.
Oh fuck! You're right. I forgot all about that.
He missed them, and it would have put them ahead at halftime with them getting the ball.
I forgot.
And he missed it, and they never got the chance again.
Okay. Well, he didn't have one in the do or die moments of the fourth quarter that you could point to and be like, he missed it. But no, yeah, I just didn't want to jump the bandwagon. I just want to give the Lions a chance, but it scares the shit out of me, that game.
The Detroit Lions are 0-9 in franchise history in wildcard games. So I am all aboard Sean McVay's Rams train. I think they have been playing better. They're on fire right now. I think Sean McVay is just back locked in as a coach this year, and the Rams are showing it here in the back half now that the injuries are past. I think Puka is honestly a really strong rookie. They're contender, and Stafford's looking really sharp in the second half of the year now that he's back. I like the Rams. I think Stafford going to Detroit, there's something about that I like Stafford to put up a bigger fight than Detroit.
I also think it boils down to what I've said all season. If the Rams can put points up on the Lions early, Goff cannot throw them back into this game. He will not be able to. With the massive turnover rate he has committed over the back half of the season, if Raheem Morris can get even a little bit of pressure on him, if that secondary can create a takeaway, it might be over early.
Didn't he come back against Chicago?
Hey.
Yeah.
And then in the next game, he threw 3 picks against us.
Oh,
and lost.
Hey, I have a chat that I can bring up that, if Michigan doesn't get out early, they're getting blown out. Famous words from
because Washington's philosophy all season was come from behind. And it would have happened. Michigan's O-line wasn't holding Washington's defense.
Oh, it's the hold. It's the hold. Not that Michael Penix was holding his ribs. And you're right. And your wide receivers could. And who was that top receiver that you said was going to torch them? Got 5 yards, like 60.
Yeah, because they were holding him too.
Revisionist.
Is that I've been right about the Lions and that whole thing all season, and you just have refused to.
Well, I'm just saying they would have went into the final week with a shot at the 1 seed if it wasn't for a corrupt ref in Dallas. That's all.
No, I believe you, but at the same time, whenever teams get ahead early by 2 possessions, they suck. They cannot find their way back into a game to save their life.
Don't you think the Lions will try to control the pace though with Gibbs and Montgomery? I think they'll try to do everything they can to not put it in.
But with how terrible that defense is against top tier quarterbacks, if Stafford can get Puka and Kupp in space, they will run riot over that defense.
Hey, that defensive coordinator is getting a head coaching job. Okay, so
Most
show some
coordinators
respect.
are getting head coaching jobs.
Getting that defensive. Anybody else want anything, Mark or Rosario?
I will say real quick. I think if there's anything I think that scares every team in the NFL, it is teams that are surging late. I'm not super confident that the Rams pull this one off. I think it's going to be it's probably going to be the closest game of the weekend. But the Rams are surging late. Stafford is going back to Detroit. I'm kind of betting that this is Detroit's luck that they said Stafford gets sent away and he eventually comes back to beat them in a playoff game in which they won the division. Everything about this feels so poetic.
Yeah.
And the Rams look good. And if the Rams win, they probably play the Niners, and they are the best bet, I think, to knock off the Niners. The Rams.
I agree with that.
Yeah, they make it past this week.
I would say that would be a slugfest if they make it next week because nobody's going to pull any punches, and there's going to be a lot of fights and probably a couple of ejections and some injuries.
Will Drake not be able to just throat punch Aaron Donald at some point on this, walk over to the other sideline, just throat punch Aaron Donald? I think that's what's going to happen.
As for this game, I'd say the Lions are going to lion. It is the first time they play in the playoffs in their own stadium. They're going to host, and who they host back? Their former quarterback, who is fucking great.
I think
so he will. Yeah. So this is the thing. I was like, wow, this is gonna be very close. I know my heart is saying that the Lions are just gonna fuck it up, but maybe they can win it. So I was kind of going back and forth. And then I read that Jared Goff says that he has a chip on his shoulder that will never leave him for being traded into the Detroit from the Rams, and he wants to take care of the Rams now. Bro, you suck.
He doesn't. He doesn't.
The problem is,
dude, he's so fucking streaky. Goff sucked for 5 weeks in a row this year.
He put 4,500 yards passing, 30 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He's not a bad quarterback.
It's a good season.
He had a horrible 5 week stretch. I think it was between 10 and 15.
The problem is that every time he says that, he's basically saying, "Yeah, I got traded to this shitty ass franchise in this shitty ass city,
Exactly.
and now
that's not what he's saying.
Yeah, I don't.
He gave him a division win, so
it doesn't matter where you get traded. This team gave up on you after you did what you could for them. and they thought there was a better option out there. So when they're coming into town, he's going to be more motivated than ever before to beat them. It's just his guarantee. It may not work, but he is going to be the most prepped for this game than he has ever been for any game. He will be more prepped, and I'm transparent. My Super Bowl that I'm hoping for more than anything in the world is Jared Goff versus Joe Flacco under the lights on the Super Bowl, because the loser will hang a banner in their stadium that we went to the Super Bowl. I want it more than anything in the world. We are living in a world where the Browns and Lions are both in the playoffs. Give me that Super Bowl.
I think this is
Did
the
you
first
not
year
see
that
that the logo is red and purple?
Yeah.
Huh?
Did you not see that the logo for
Get
the Super
out of
Bowl
here,
is red and purple?
4chan. What do we
Yeah. But guess what? It's the time to switch it. Okay. This is interesting. Eagles Bucks. One person is very confident. There are 4 Eagles, 2 Bucks. Me, 1 point. Nazario, 3 points. Scully, 2 points. Robert, 7 points for the Eagles. Coho, 6 points for the Bucks. Mark Menchaca, 14 points for the Bucks.
Holy crap.
I've never been prouder of you in my life.
This game did get played earlier this season. It was 25, I think, to 11. Baker pretty much got shut out. I put it at 1 point for good reason. This is the hardest game to decide for me. I put there's a few things that I take into it. I take the Giants game as nothing. I take the Giants game as absolutely nothing. I think that was one where they wanted to try to get some motivation for it, but I think overall they were checked out. They were in the playoffs. They didn't really care. And I think they were scoreboard watching. I really do. I'm not saying they were any help, but I believe the Commanders were going to lose. So that was it. I believe that they have the experience. I think they have the offense. And I think this is a team that we just saw barely squeak out a win against Carolina. 9 points. Couldn't really get the ball moving against them. I think they're going to go back to old reliable. I think they are just going to run the ball and keep it away from Tampa Bay. I think you will be surprised where it will be 40-20 in time of possession. I don't think this is a classic start the game, 15 play, 10-minute drive of just the Eagles just jamming it down their throats. That's my thoughts. Everybody else on the Eagles, give your thoughts, and then we'll go to the Pirates.
I already said it. The Eagles are gonna fucking destroy the Bucks.
You only put 3 points though.
Yeah.
Because shit fucking happens, and I want to be conservative. But my gut,
I love that he saved this 13 for the 49ers next week. I just love that he saved 13.
My gut tells me that Jalen Hurts is gonna play like vintage Jalen Hurts, and this team is gonna look like they used to look at the beginning of this season, and the Bucks are gonna be the Bucks. The Bucks barely are in the playoffs. They almost lost to the fucking Panthers. They knew they needed that win, and they still barely showed up on Week 18. What makes you guys think it's gonna be any different now? Where are they gonna bring up the gumption other than Baker, who fucking bakes, by the way? That man bakes. So other than Baker, how are you have any confidence that this team is gonna show up and beat the fucking NFC defending champions, even though they are in a rocky moment? They won't. The Eagles are gonna fucking win. But I'll put 3 points on it because shit happens.
This is a sort of revenge game, because the last time they played in the playoffs, the Eagles got smacked. Now that was Brady, a different defense. Hurts is hurt. AJ Brown might not play, but Baker's also hurt. I think that's clear. He was missing Mike Evans a lot in that Panthers game, And the Panthers had a fumble out of the end zone by DJ Chark, and Pinheiro missed the field goal. That game could have been 10-9 Panthers, if not for some like terrible, hilarious mistakes that were made. So I just go with the pedigree, because if they could run the ball, which they choosing not to, I don't know why. Rashard White, but they don't want to run the ball, or they can't run the ball. And Baker's hurt. I don't know how they generate offense, even against a shitty Eagles defense. I don't know how they generate offense. So I'll go with the pedigree.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close. It's going to be like 20-17 or something, I think. I think it is going to be a time of possession game. Eagles are going to come out, try to just wear down that Bucs defense, and then just, try to see if their secondary can create a couple takeaways. That's really the only way they're going to be able to get their offense back on the field, is if they can create a couple turnovers, because otherwise Baker can just dump off to Rashad White and let him gash the defense for 175 yards. So I don't feel confident going either way, but I do think ultimately the Eagles do pull it out and win. So yeah, I'm in the Eagles camp on this one.
Real quick, Mark, does it concern you at all that Coho's in your camp?
I mean, Coho was right about the Giants last week. I'm hoping that this is the Giants side.
He also was right about the Dolphins. Oh.
Well, I'm just hoping the Dolphins like just a different pick. But I think this is the Giants pick.
Jaguars.
I mean, listen.
You put 14 points.
Yeah. I saw this, and the moment you said it, like, you know what? No. Like, we had this conversation last week. I'm going to put my fucking money where my mouth is right now, that the Eagles are fucking done. What have we seen that makes you think, oh, they're going to fucking show it? Like, I mean, we had this same, logic. Like, we had the same logic about the Chiefs, kind of. And the only reason I think why we have any confidence in the Chiefs because they're playing the Dolphins. And we know they're not going to show up in a big moment. But the Bucs, at least proven that, they can play decent football. And, I mean, we talked about look-ahead games, this entire year. Even though they had to win that game, the Bucs were definitely looking ahead of the Panthers. We're not losing to the goddamn Panthers at our home. They're playing at home, right? They're playing at Tampa Bay that game. Yeah, they're not losing to the fucking Carolina Panthers at their home fucking stadium. We don't care. It's 9-0. We won the division. Who gives a shit? And now we're gonna host the Eagles, who are. I mean, just talking about me. I just talked about surging teams. Eagles have been on a 2-month fucking decline. They got their fucking asses handed to them by the 49ers, and they have not been the fucking same.
They are 3-5 since the bye week.
Yeah, Baker could be hurt, fine, whatever. But there's nothing about the Eagles that makes me at all, and they have to play this game at fucking Tampa Bay. It doesn't make any sense to me why we're thinking, oh, the Eagles are going to show up automatically in the playoffs. They haven't done it the fucking last weekend. And I know Cody said we're not going to take any stock with the Giants. They tried to have a bit of a get right game, and they got spanked by the Giants. They got skunked off the field. They're like, hey, we're getting our fucking asses kicked. Let's just bench everybody so we don't get Devonta Smith hurt in the third quarter. No, their morale is at an all-time fucking low. They're Baker may throw for 6 touchdowns in that game.
The way I see it, the Eagles have no momentum and no clear advantage in terms of location or strategy coming into this game. Because the Buccaneers have the home field, they have the weather, they have the momentum, they have everything.
They beat them.
Buccaneers might not be the better team, but they're going to certainly play better when they're playing a team that's dead on arrival.
Are you saying they're going to play worse when it's warmer?
The Eagles? Yeah. I think they're going to play worse when it's warmer.
When has that ever been?
It's not that the Eagles play worse, but play better.
You guys do realize half this team went to the University of Georgia, and you know where Georgia is, right? In the fucking South.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
warm.
I'm
10
not
months
going
out
to
of
say
the
a
year.
thing about the weather.
I'm
I
just-
just think the Eagles.
hold on. I'm just really confused that the warm weather has never been a deterrent for a football team ever.
I'm more so saying it's less of an
Hot.
effect against the Eagles at a pro.
Eagles
Yeah.
beat Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay when it was even hotter.
When did they do
And I'm
that?
guessing
What
that's
week-
when the
what week
Eagles
was it?
were good,
Huh?
and now they're not.
What week was that? When did the Eagles beat the?
Like week 4, week 5.
Yeah, they're a
There you
different
go.
team now.
Okay,
They were-
long time ago.
No, I think Cody's just using that as a.
Halloween had not happened yet, so yeah,
I guess
no,
the
different
weather
fucking
thing.
team.
Holy
It still is a recipe.
Coho is like the Titanic if they made their own iceberg.
Here's the thing, Cody said it earlier in the episode. You'd rather win the second matchup than the first.
I agree.
It's true.
This is the second matchup, and I think the Eagles are a way worse team right now than they were the first time.
Listen,
By the way, the Bucks
if
won that game
anybody
at
else
Charlotte.
used my own logic against me, if
Oh, okay.
Huh?
There you go.
The
What?
Week 18 game, they didn't win in Tampa. They won in Charlotte. Just throw it
so,
out.
here's my thing. If anybody else used my logic against me, I would take it. Since Coho said it, it means nothing. I'm just gonna say that Coho just doesn't make any sense to me. He has been sort of right on the Eagles. We'll see if that comes to fruition. I don't see it, but we'll find out. So that's the episode. We had a little longer. We talked in depth about stuff. We started late, so apologies. I am at 40 points on the line for this week. Nazario 32 because I want everybody to pencil this down 10th of January. 13 points on the 49ers next week. 12 points on the 49ers the week after. 11 points on them in the Super Bowl. That's where I predicted happening, or 10 points in the Super Bowl. So that's where I see that one going. 32 for Nazario, 44 for Scully, 51 for Mark, 41 for Robert, and 43 for Coho. So we'll see.
Mark wants this over quick.
Yeah, he's taking a shot.
Which I respect. I respect a lot. All right, we will be live next week to talk about these games and then get ready for the next one. Okay, bye.
Forgot.
Wow,
the thing?
you suck.
All right.
Oh yeah. Bye.